Welcome to Cast Showdown. This is a series I've started to discuss all things Hunt and to discover more about the people in and around the community. I will be talking to other Crytek partners and hopefully to some of the devs to get their perspective. Sometimes it will be a one-to-one discussion and others as a group. The goal here is to give people a spotlight and have their say, and I strongly encourage others to join in. As is the first time doing something like this, I'm well aware of the potential for it to evolve and get as many involved as possible. Any ideas or suggestions, or if you want to ask questions to anyone, please let me know below or join the Discord. To open things up, I sat down with one of Crytek's community managers who has had an impact on the community in one way or another. Enjoy. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, no worries. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, you're the first guest.
Oh, number one.
How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, man. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Exhausted. Not gonna lie. It was the birthday was recently, so I've been partying a little bit too much.
That's right. You recently celebrated your birthday, and you also celebrated 10 years in the gaming industry.
Pretty big milestone. Yeah, I've been 10 years in the industry now. It's kind of crazy to believe that it's been this long. You know, it doesn't feel like it half the time. It feels like it's only been a couple of years, like 2-3 years, but then like I kind of look back and see what I've actually done in that time, and it's like, holy crap.
So how did that start?
Pretty awesome.
How did that start for you? Have you always been a community manager, or did you get your foot in the door somewhere?
Yeah, no, I mean, I had to get my foot in the door somehow, but community management wasn't the start of it. Customer service was the start, actually. Okay. So started out with a job in BioWare back 10 years ago, literally 10 years ago to yesterday, the 23rd, which is kind of crazy. Nice. Started with BioWare as a customer support agent for the Star Wars MMO that came out 11 years ago, the Star Wars The Old Republic. So not to be confused with the old KOTOR games or anything like that. This was something completely newer than that. So yeah, started out with BioWare, worked as customer service and QA for I think about a year or so, a year and a half maybe, through the launch of Star Wars. During that time then ended up transitioning of different places like within the company. Ended up working on the Star Wars forums for a little while, kind of like a customer service rep online, which was no one had been doing it, so we were the first ones around that time to start doing it anyway. And then shortly after that, EA ended up taking over the building. They saw exactly what we were doing and saw the potential that it had and wanted to help expand it significantly, so they came over and started supporting not only Star Wars, but actually every EA game that came up. And then one day the lead community manager, the European head of the community, comes into us and he's like, come on guys, bring you into a meeting here for a minute. And we're like, oh crap, what's happening? We don't like, and he's like, okay, so as you know, I've taken over this and well, I need to expand my team. You will now all work for me. Congratulations, you're all community managers. And it's like, huh? What?
Right. Really? What games did that cover?
So we moved, some of us stayed on Star Wars, and then a few others kind of dotted around to other games. We ended up setting up a support site called AHQ for EA, and then I got the opportunity to start working on Battlefield. This was like huge for me because like I've always been a fan of Battlefield for as long as I can remember. And yeah, DICE came to us one day and we're like, hey, we need some help on our forums. Can you guys be that help? So myself and like 2 others, we ended up jumping on and we started helping out with Battlefield 3 and helped out through the launch of Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, even helped out with Battlefront as well. What another Star Wars game. So, you know, yeah, that was kind of my entry into community management as a, you know, as an actual position rather than it being more customer service based. So Battlefield 3 was the first kind of community manager position I had. And yeah, ever since then, that's what I've been doing. So that's what we're 8.5 years as a community manager now. So through Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, like I said, and now through a couple of different games for Crytek. Hunt primarily, Crisis Remastered series, The Climb, and Robinson the Journey. A couple of VR games that were released a few years back.
Okay, so was that the connection EA into Crytek there?
Slightly, yes. I mean, previously, back in the early stages when EA took over, I did help out on Crisis 3, and that was kind of like, I mean, I'd always been a fan of the Crisis games, but Crisis 3 was the first one I really had hands-on in helping anything with, and we just did customer service for it, but it was kind of like, okay, Crisis piqued my interest. This I like. Let's see, you know, we'll see if anything comes up with Crytek in the next few years, and, you know, people that I had worked with in EA ended up in Crytek, so I had ended up having contacts there that would let me know when positions came up. And that's exactly what happened this time around. I took a little bit of a break for about 6-7 months just to kind of help out with some family stuff, and then a mate of mine was like, "Hey, this position's coming up in Crytek. You interested?" And I'm like, Crytek, you say? Oh, why, yes, hell yes, I am interested. Definitely. I mean, I had no idea what they were working on all the time. At the time, I wasn't allowed to know because it was all like super hush hush secret and everything like that. So my mate calls me and he tells me, you know, it's for a new game coming out, shooter game. That's all I can really say. Tells me about the life in Germany and everything like that, and I'm like, okay, I'm really interested. So I sent in an application. And I think a couple of months later, I'm getting a phone call going, like, for after having a first interview, I'm getting a phone call going, "We'd love to meet you. So we're going to bring you over to Frankfurt for a day, fly you in, fly you out, have an in-person interview, show you the game, and yeah, see how you get along." And that was it, pretty much. From that point on, I fell in love with Hunt, and I knew that Crytek was somewhere I wanted to work, and I wanted to work on this game, and I wanted to do as much as I could to make this an absolutely incredible shooter, you know?
So you went from working with quite a lot of really big, prestigious games, and then you moved on to Hunt, and was that Hunt Horrors of the Gilded Age, or was it Showdown at that point?
It was what we know as Hunt Showdown at this point. Gilded Age was around between 2014 to 2017, thereabouts. I literally showed up towards the end of 2017 with Crytek, and at that point, Hunt was already Hunt Showdown. I had transitioned from the Horrors of the Gilded Age into what we had now. So when I got in there, during my interview, I was shown like pre-alpha versions of Hunt Showdown as we know it.
Brilliant.
It was. It really, really was. So yeah, and then that's it. For the last 3 years now, 3.5 years at this point, I've been working as primarily the community manager for Hunt Showdown. And yeah, that's where the last 10 years have led us.
Going back to Crisis, I have to ask. I see there's some Twitter activity with the Crisis Twitter. Anything
there is.
Anything you can reveal about that?
Not currently. No, just, you know, it's pretty active. I would say maybe keep an eye on it over the next couple of weeks. You know, yeah, definitely wouldn't be a bad idea anyway. You know, I mean, we always post some really nice things and the occasional nice wallpapers and everything like that as well for our Crisis fans. You know, but yeah, I mean, can't say anything for sure. You know, but I mean, it's definitely not a bad idea keeping an eye out on it for a while.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, so you've been there from the beginning then of what Hunt Showdown has been, and you've seen the community grow from its infancy to what it is now. Have you got any overall opinions about the community? How have you found it?
I mean, one thing, the only thing I can really say, and not kind of one of those saying it for because I have to and I'm on camera kind of thing. I actually love this community, and that's partially why I've been here for so long. Is because I really, really enjoy getting to work with such a passionate and dedicated player base. I get to work and meet some very, very talented and creative and everything kind of people, and it's just been one hell of an experience, one I wouldn't change for the world. So first and foremost, really, really passionate about this community, very much so. I love how passionate this community is about our game and about what we do.
So the passion that I guess a lot of people express. There's a lot of frustrations with a lot of things. Is that something that you keep your eye on as well?
I mean, we have to. I mean, that's kind of part and parcel of what I do, really, as a community manager. It's primarily my job to make sure the developers know how the community feel, and vice versa. So a lot of the day-to-day, like you would see, is kind of looking after the communications channels, putting out communications, putting out patch notes, managing the Discord, the social channels, the partner program, everything like that. So, there's a lot of day-to-day stuff when it comes to managing a community. But one of the primary focuses for us is to gather the information that the community give and put it into a digestible, legible, readable way for the developers to actually take it on board. And then vice versa, be able to communicate what it is the developers take from all of this and give it back to the players to be able to kind of bridge that gap that unfortunately is there. It's part and parcel of the industry, really. It's developers and gamers are very, very close, but sometimes they do have a very hard time communicating, and that's kind of where we come, because we speak both languages. We speak player and we speak developer, so it helps.
Yeah, so you kind of find yourself in a player role quite a lot of the time as a community manager as well, because I know obviously you play Hunt quite a lot. So
yeah, I mean, not only play it, I also stream it from time to time as well. So I mean, I've been playing Hunt since the very, very beginning. I'm very, very active. Like not as much as some of you partners have, but I have about 1,000 hours just between test server and main game, and then plus another 400 or 500 from internal testing and stuff like that. So yeah, I've spent a lot of time in Hunt, so definitely I am a player, and I think that does go a long way to be able to understanding what people are feeling and being able to actually communicate that to developers in a way that's going to make sense.
So I've got to ask, what's your favorite loadout in Hunt right now?
Oh man, okay. So ever since the most recent event, I was playing from time to time. I was playing a lot of solo. I like solo; it's fun. But I started bringing a Springfield Compact with one set of normal and one set of explosive rounds, as well as a hand crossbow double poison. And then, the usual stuff, the, knuckle knife, first aid kit, choke bombs, and whatever, quad derringer, anything like fusees, whatever the hell, whatever's laying around, basically, to grab. And then vitality shots with something fire, something explosive, and most likely something sticky to take down a boss. So that's kind of become my go-to loadout at the moment. I've had some pretty awesome games with it, I'm not gonna lie. I think there's probably some in the community cursing my name after giving them the runaround with that. But yeah, I found it very helpful. The poison is great for like AI and bosses, and at least like with the Butcher and Scrapbeak and that. The Spectre Compact is just, the explosive rounds are quite helpful, especially if you are on your own. It kind of gives you that little bit of extra breathing room to kind of keep people away. And then the extras with the crossbow of area of denial, I always find it's very good if you kind of can be able to stop someone from
Springfield Compact.
Yeah, Springfield Compact.
I thought you said Spectre Compact there. I was slightly worried there for a moment.
Springfield Compact. I'm kind of terrible with shotguns, so I don't really use them that much. I much prefer the rifles. So
fair enough.
But yeah.
So we just had
my go-to right now.
We just had 1.52 added.
Yes.
And what's your take on how people have received the additional ammo that has been added?
Well, I mean, anything that gets added is generally always going to have a bit of a mixed bag. Sometimes it's going to be everyone loves it, sometimes it's going to be everyone hates it, or sometimes you got a bit of a right down the middle. Yeah, I know there's been some concerns, but right now, like the way Dennis always puts it is that we need to kind of keep an eye on things. We have to actually see it in action for a lengthy period of time to be able to get legible and workable stats from it, to be able to go, okay, something is here needs to be reworked, something here needs to be reworked. So and I mean this is something that's like already in process. So I mean 1.5.2 was last week or something like that, and it's still, we're, from the moment it hit live servers, we're keeping track and making sure that, okay, this is not being overused, this is not being abused, this is not too much, and we will make adjustments as we go. It's kind of that's the never-ending process of development. Sometimes you have to add in things. I mean, giving extra custom ammo, I mean, for me personally, I think it's good. I like the fact that we're getting a bit more variety throughout more weapons. Like, it was always awesome that we had what we got with the custom ammo update, but I like the fact that there's more being added, because this is one thing that Hunt has had from the very beginning. It's to try and add more variety, more options with your playstyle, So while I can understand exactly why people might be frustrated, give it time, and we'll see if things need to be changed. We'll make changes. It's not a case of we're just kind of it's never a one and done. It's never put it in and just forget about it. It's like, if something is heavily unbalanced, we will look at it. We're not just gonna forget it.
Yeah, that's,
and if it's a case we don't feel it needs to be changed, or there isn't a change that can be done that isn't going to completely destroy it, we'll talk about that as well. We'll communicate that as well. So
yeah, that's one of the biggest, that's one of the most fantastic things that I like about Crytek, is obviously your eyes on, and you're keeping abroad of what is being said and opinions that are flying around, and obviously you're taking on community requests as well.
Of course.
Roadmap, is that something that's going to get updated anytime soon?
Yes, it will be updated very soon. There's been a lot going on with, we've been getting stuff out pretty quick. The new event recently with Scrap Beak and everything like that. Currently working on the new map. So yeah, it's just been a little bit hectic. So that's something actually probably within the next week or two of us having this conversation. It should be up to date. We just kind of want to kind of make sure that the roadmap is accurately communicate what's going to be coming. So we just need to make sure that it's a plan that we're working on to try and actually make it more I won't say feasible, but more detailed, more accurate, more precise, just to kind of give that little bit more information.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm assuming you're excited for the new map. I think everyone's excited for the new map.
For sure.
But that's not where things are going to end, right?
No, definitely not. Map is not. It's not just map and then we're finished. There's far more to come. I would love to be able to speak more about it, but I can't. But no, for sure, there is definitely more planned for after the map. We're not finished with Hunt, probably not by a long shot, if I'm honest. So
I look forward to it. So obviously there's things on the roadmap that I know a lot of people are waiting for, things like the 2D mission replay. And I think some of that was touched on in the last dev stream.
Yeah, Dennis did touch on some of it recently. It's something that's still in the works. It's not it's basically building an entirely new system on top of an existing system. So stuff like that, unfortunately, does take a lot of time. And we kind of have to make sure that the priorities are right. I mean, new content like Scrap Beak, for example, the custom ammo and the map are things that are going to take precedence, because those are the biggest requests from people, from the community. It's new map, new boss. These were right before Scrap Beak came out, that was exactly what everyone was wanting. Now we have the boss, it's new map. So we have to make sure that the focuses are in the right place. But it's still, there's work being done on it. I can't really give too much detail on it because that is something that would be for like, you know, a dev stream. But
Of course.
like with Dennis touching on it, yeah, it's something we are working on for sure, and I think it'll probably help a lot. While we want to make sure that keeping the mystery, like there's a lot of mystery in the actual game itself. For some of it, then it might actually take the mystery, like after the game is finished, like when you can do nothing about it, you can then go hopefully back and see, okay, what's exactly happened throughout this match, and hopefully be able to kind of take away some of that mystery after the fact. Okay. You know,
I'll look forward to that as well, because that's one of the things I know a lot of people have been requesting. I do have a question that was asked, whether or not I could pass it on, was talking about having systems added on top. Console crossplay. Is there any scope for allowing cross invites?
Yes, but again, like we're talking about systems that need to be developed, and I do know that it is a discussion that we've been having, but it's right now, again, it's Matt focus for the time being, and then be able to start kind of tidying things up a bit. I personally, I can't say 100% certain. Yes, it's going to happen, but I do know it is something that we would like to be able to do, and it's something we are looking into. But again, we just have to wait and see. With a lot of things, unfortunately, it's just, let's wait and see. Actually does come from the discussions that are had internally on stuff like that.
Yeah, something like that I've speculated is that given the amount of work that would have to go into implementing something like that, you're probably not going to want to sort of half-ass it.
No,
so
it is not something you want to just do in a half-assed way, because then that's just going to make more people more unhappy.
So does that open up scope for, because such a large internal system like that, does that open up crossplay for perhaps PC and console?
Crossplay between PC and console is a tough one. While yes, it would be really awesome to have PC players and console players be able to play, and because it opens up just more people to play with on both sides. There is the thing of controller versus keyboard, or mouse and keyboard, which personally, I mean, I've played Hunt on both. I've played Hunt on both console and on PC. I primarily play it on PC, but I'm not adverse to console. I do enjoy it. However, I am far better on PC than I am on console. So that kind of opens up the issue of, is it an unfair matchup if you do something like that? And I know there's probably a lot of PC players would be like, no, it wouldn't be really fair. And I'm sure there's a bunch of console players that would absolutely destroy a bunch of the PC players. But it's a very, very careful one that you have to weigh up. You know, I mean, if you look at some other games where they have opened up that crossplay, it's because it's I won't say a 1-to-1, but it is quite a seamless transition, you know, or at least as close to seamless as you can get between a, you know, controller and a mouse and keyboard. For me, it would be awesome. Like I said, it would be great if it opened up that opportunity for both sides to be able to play with more friends. But again, hugely complicated system. Probably would end up making a lot of people unhappy if it was forced. So personally, I would love if maybe there was an option for it that you could like, you know, like there is with, you know, crossplay on consoles at the moment. Whether or not it's a thing or could be a thing, I genuinely cannot for sure right now. I mean, conversations like this obviously do come up, but again, it comes down to prioritization of the tasks at hand, you know, and that would be a more in the nice to have column rather than the must have column, at least right now anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things I see from time to time that gets brought up quite a lot. Especially obviously right now, between the two console platforms, you know, and having come from console myself as well, there's definitely been times where, you know, I've had friends who've played on PlayStation, and you know, we wanted to get together and so on. And it's definitely between the two platforms, having an internal system like that brought in would be great. But I know that you're probably not going to look to bring something like that in just for those two platforms if you're not going to scope out to the bigger picture.
That's the thing. You know, we would always look at the bigger picture as well. But this is the thing. It's the bigger picture is exactly that. It's the much, much bigger picture.
Yeah.
So stuff like that kind of gets, like I said, it gets into that column of nice to have rather than a must have right now kind of thing. You know, and that's how you have to deal with a lot of stuff in development.
Yeah.
Is that what must you have and what's nice to have, and then put the prioritization towards having more must-haves than nice-to-haves. But then, you know, once you've kind of covered a lot of the must-haves, you can start adding in the nice-to-haves afterwards, you know, and that's, yeah, it's kind of how things really go throughout development all the time, really.
One of the nice-to-haves that has recently been implemented is the skill-based matchmaking. How are you guys monitoring that? How are you getting on with that?
I mean, constantly. In terms of how you monitor it, constantly. Obviously, because it is a brand new system that we've introduced, so it's complicated. It's going to have teething problems. It did have teething problems, but we kind of feel that it's actually starting to balance itself out quite a lot more. I mean, like we've shown in the last 2 developer live streams, plus a video that we made talking about matchmaking, plus a couple of blogs. We've been very, very vocal about the topic of matchmaking, mainly because the community has been very vocal about it. So we want to make sure that there's that back and forth coming, at least, you know, that flow of information to make sure that players are as informed as possible to then further the conversations, you know. So yeah, I mean, for me personally, I think it's been great. You know, I find it. I'm an average player. I'm nothing more than an average player. So I'm right, like smack in the middle of everybody, I think. And for me, it's okay. I get very, very fun games. Like sometimes get games where it's like my team will dominate. I get games where we get dominated over. You know, it's just part and parcel of how it goes, as far as I'm concerned. So for me, I've been having great fun with it. You know, I know not everyone has had like fantastic experiences. You know, but that's the thing. There's no such thing as a perfect matchmaking system. No game has a perfect matchmaking system. It's trial and error, constant trial and error. That's what we've done. I mean, within the first week of introducing skill-based matchmaking, we made several changes because we tried it, we saw the feedback, we saw the stats, we made changes based on, I wouldn't say an error, but based on, right, like we can only go in with a certain idea of how it's going to work, and then seeing it in practice helps us to actually decide, okay, right, this needs to change, this needs to change, this is the wrong thing, you know. So I think we've done quite a bit on it, but like, I mean, it's not like we're just done with it. Again, I said it a while ago, it's never a one and done. Anything like that any big system that gets introduced, it's always going to be a focus for quite a while to make sure that we can get it as good as it possibly can be, you know.
So I have to ask as well, have you actually got any spare time? Are you playing anything else other than Hunt?
I mean, yeah, I try my best to play other games. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Hunt, but you know, sometimes there's days where there's only so many times I can get one tapped in the head before I decide I need to go play something a little bit more chill. You know. So yeah, right now, God, what am I playing right now? Okay, so Overwatch is something I play quite a lot. I'm big into shooters, so there's always at least one shooter on the go at some point. Sea of Thieves I jump into every now and again because I find it quite chill and relaxing for the most part. And one I just got last night actually is SnowRunner. That's driving truck simulator thingy. I don't even know how to describe it, but man, I just spent 6 hours on that, like that, you know. It was like it was nothing. So that was actually quite fun. But yeah, I mean, I try to play a bit of everything. I mean, I have Dead by Daylight, Among Us, Apex Legends, Phasmophobia, Vermintide. You know, I mean, I play a wide variety of games. You know, I've been a gamer pretty much my entire life. Ever, like first time playing some game was like my dad's Atari 2600 way back in the day, and then onto the Sega Mega Drive and so on and so forth from there on. So yeah, gaming has just been a pretty dominant thing throughout my entire life, if I'm honest.
Yeah, same.
So
I know you stream, but you're taking a bit of a hiatus now, and you're going to be potentially streaming a bit more when leading up to the new map, maybe, or maybe after the new map, or
a bit of both, really. Yeah, it's like there's just a lot going on at the moment. So just when I finish my day, I kind of just want to chill. And I find like streaming is great. Don't get me wrong. But I often wonder how you guys do it all the time, because it's like there's so much energy needed throughout the whole stream to be able, in order to make it a good and positive place for people to come into, you know. So I found that with working full time and, you know, jumping on in the evenings and staying up way too late, it was just that it got a little bit much. So I needed to take a bit of a break from it, just to kind of recharge a little bit. But no, for sure, my plan is at some point in the next couple of weeks is to kind of start streaming again. I want to get, I want to just kind of fix up overlays and fix up my audio and video and everything on it. Like I've recently upgraded the PC, so I have a bunch of things that I should be doing that I'm not doing. So once I kind of have all that sorted over the course of the next few weeks, I'll definitely be up streaming again. So, and I mean, who knows? I might even end up doing one or two of the Crytek streams at some point in the future as well. So, you know, it's pretty cool.
I hear someone likes to call you Steve.
Yeah. So so a lot of people don't really know like what to call me, because a bunch of people that know me, like yourself and a few other partners and other streamers, they call me Rick, like, you know, as you see below. So Rick is my real name. Some people only know me as IC3MAN2K. So yeah, but it was like my second or third stream, maybe, or at least like my first week as an affiliate or something like that, and I got raided by Psycho Ghost for several hundred people, possibly even over 1,000 people, and I was like incredibly unprepared. But immediately I went into, "Hi everybody, how's it going? My name is Rick, or you could call me Ice or IC3MAN2K, or whatever the hell you want, really." I kind of answered to a hell of a lot of things and continued on talking, and as I see in chat, one guy pops up. "Okay, then I shall call you Steve." I mean, I kind of opened myself up to it. I said, "You can call me whatever you like, really." So
and it's just come on from there, as it just
that's it,
Steve.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's this one person and maybe like two or three others. They come in whenever I'm streaming, or they see me in a Discord chat or whatever, or, you know, in a Twitch chat. It's like, "Oh, hi, Steve." It's like, "Yeah, hi, yeah, how's it going?" But you know, it's like I said. I mean, I don't really mind what people call me. Some people will prefer it like IC3MAN2K because that's what they see me as on, you know, streams, on Discord, on Twitch, on Twitter, on actually pretty much every platform that exists almost. I'm sure there's some that it doesn't exist on. And if it does, it's potentially not me. But I mean, like PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, Epic Store, Ubisoft, all of them, everything that has like a platform, Battle.net, everything is IC3MAN2K. So, but yeah, but like I said, I mean, people can call me whatever. I don't mind. Like, go by Rick, I go by Ice, I go by Iceman. It's all the same, really.
And now Steve.
As long as you're not calling me an asshole, we're all fine, you know.
Sure, no one calls you that.
Well, I'm sure some do, but hey, look, you know, they don't generally say it directly to me, so that's at least something.
Fair enough. So 1.6. Any when is it we can expect that? I know, are you still aiming for quarter 2? End of quarter 2, maybe?
Yeah, that's generally what we've said is what we're still aiming for. Yeah, I can't really say much more than that. Sorry.
Brilliant. Okay.
I can't give. I know. I'd love to be able to say more and give more details, but things can change, and that's why we don't really like giving set dates, because anything can happen and anything can get in the way right at the last minute. So
absolutely,
I'll put it to you this way. One thing that we've been doing more of is when something is coming out, we're starting to build up to it a bit more. So we're teasing little bits here and there. So it's a good sign that if we're teasing stuff, things are generally going pretty well.
You're on track.
Yeah.
And we've certainly seen some teasers here and there already, I think. So
we have seen little tidbits. Yeah. So that should give you a fair idea that, you know, we're definitely on the right track at the moment, and there's some very, very nice things to come. Very, very nice things.
Brilliant. Well, look forward to seeing you stream again.
Yeah, man. Yeah, looking forward to getting back at it. So definitely miss doing it. That's one thing for sure.
Absolutely, and thanks for jumping on.
No worries at all, dude. Happy to be here.
We shall do this again, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, you know, generally you can't get rid of me, you know. No. So
brilliant.
But yeah, no, thanks very much, dude. I really appreciate it. It's been great chatting with you. It's great being able to share, you know, bits and pieces of my story along the way. You know, I find stuff like this does help the community a lot, to give a little bit more of an insight into the people behind every part of the community, you know. So best of luck with it in future, and I hope all your guests are just as awesome, if not better.
I'm sure they will be. We'll see who we can get on, and it will be something that will evolve over time. And we'll see what happens with it. But thanks ever so much, and I will catch you soon.
Yeah, you take it easy, man.